Hello, welcome to Top 10 Mods for Fabric 116.4. So, we're going to start with a mod called On Soulfire. So this is pretty cool. When a mob goes on fire, you see it will now go on the correct type of fire. Then we have Unsuspicious Stew. And when we put in our mushrooms, and we'll actually be able to see the effect instead of it not showing anything there. So you can actually see what that suspicious stew is going to do. So the third mod is, you may have noticed when I do this, you can see the fade animation. That's because I'm using a mod called Slight GUI Modifications. It does this. One of the really cool things it does is this. When you take a screenshot, it does that. I mean, that's cool, right? That is really, really cool. Here's the next one, which is called Villager Hats. So this is pretty cool. Obviously, all the different villagers have got different hats on. And you can essentially put on all the villager hats. It doesn't necessarily do anything. You can see this is trinkets, by the way. So this is like curios, or the old one, I can't even remember now, baubles. So I'm currently in a biome from this mod called Woods and Mires. It has pine trees. It only adds a couple of different biomes, just pine clearings, pine forest. But I think I tend to like, it's the reason I like that Autumnity mod. It's because it just adds a couple of biomes, but there's sort of like a hope that you might actually have. But yeah, you see, just there's a few of these pine forest biomes. It's got kettle pond. This is a kettle pond here. The pine mire. I read that there may be some interesting, if you use the water erosion mod, there might be some interesting mod interactions. I also want to check out that ecotones mod, which is also a fabric mod. I think it's on 116.3 at the moment. This is an interesting feature of roughly enough items, by the way, where you can see it. You can see the item selection. You can actually change it here, which I'll just quickly show you. If you go to appearance of the recipe, you get this pleasant box here, and we could switch back to original. So yeah, anyway, we have the hammers here. So the animations do work for every single screen, and also you can choose the background color of the highlighted block. Pretty straightforward recipes for a lot of them. See, the ender hammer looks really expensive actually. So yeah, it doesn't seem to be particularly fast, but it's just another mod that adds hammers that will do a 3x3 area. And as you might imagine, we can actually repair the hammer in the anvil with the suitable repair material, and there's a bunch of different materials that we can use there. Okay, now we've got a mod called MiniHUD. So if you're looking for a light level overlay solution, this is a pretty good one. So if I just press K, I'm going to get a decent light level overlay there. It does seem like this mod is pretty fully featured. So if you look at the MiniHUD config menu here, you can see I could put up a bunch of different stuff. Well, you get the idea. You could put a huge amount of stuff on that. So we've also got this section called shape, which is here. So I put circle and cylinder, center, snap, enabled on. We can configure it, change the color. Okay. Low range, all below, all above. All we'll go for. Okay, and we'll set our shape. Actually, I've got that set to something else. I could do 2 buttons on it. Oh, well, I could do 3 buttons on it. And okay, we'll set the shape renderer to P. Now we can see we can get a rendering of a circle there. But one of the more interesting ones in the shape renderer is we can do a can spawn, can despawn. So we can add one of those, right? And then we could maybe add the 32 one as well. It looks like they've got custom colors. And then if we did that, so yeah, you can see we're actually inside now. They are the same color, unfortunately, by default. But you can see from that spot I was standing, we can very clearly see the entire range, and it does do both of them, whatever shape rendered is on one hotkey there. So Woods and Mires, it does add the pine leaves, stripped wood, the planks. We've also got the tansy and the fireweed. So fireweed can be used to make magenta dye, tansy for yellow dye. The map mod I've got here is called Just Map. So we can see we've got a larger version here. Can also move around a little bit with the larger version. We've got the waypoint selection here. All the things you might imagine that you could do. And we can press a hotkey to access the configuration here. I changed the offset a little bit just because it was a bit off the screen. And there's also in the map info section, we can do show advanced info. That will put a bunch of extra info that again is customized. So pretty straightforward to turn that off as well. You can put on a bunch more info, including some of your info with chest plates and stuff. And we can do shit. You can also change the shape to a square or a circle. We also have the mod called More Berries. So various different coloured berries that we'll find in different biomes. And they're essentially just berry bushes, exactly the same as the normal one. You can walk through them. And they're berry bushes. You can make berry cake. And all the cakes are pretty similar. And you can also make your berry juice as well with the juicer. Also this mod called This Rocks. So these are just little things you'll find on the ground. You may have seen them already during my playthrough. The key ones though are going to be these, the pine cones, the seashells, the starfish. You'll just find them on the ground in various different biomes. If you break the pine cones, you'll get spruce saplings. Seashells will sometimes get you nautilus shells, which is pretty handy. And starfish doesn't get you much apart from the starfish. Okay, for this mod, Illuminations, we're going to come to a swamp because it's got the highest level of particles here. So each biome has got a different volume of particles, with swamp being the highest. And you can see it just adds a little bit of ambience. So finally we're going to look at a biome mod called Cinderscapes. So actually some music tracks here. Scorched Stem, that's an awesome looking block. Here we are in the Luminous Grove. So this is going to add a lot of nether-based, it adds nether biomes, also decorative. Got a photo fern, twilight fescues, umbral nilium, so a new type of nilium, twilight tendrils. We can take a look at some of these things, like we just hit U on a bunch of stuff. It looks like a lot of it is just going to be like placement of stuff. Rose quartz will become rose quartz, but yeah, it will just be a replacement for quartz, these types of quartz. So nothing, I don't think there's really, like, it's really more of a decorative block, this one. And obviously these biomes are pretty cool. I've put the biome thing up. So the umbral wart, so if we use an axe on the, you can see, works similarly here. Also features streamlights, and I suppose a bit more verticality. We have these sort of tendril structures over here, twilight vein with ghastly ectoplasm on top of them. This seems to be all the features of the Luminous Grove, but there are a bunch of other biomes as well, so let's check out some of the others. So yeah, we'll go with Ashy Shoals now. This is kind of interesting. Look, I'm going up and down this tunnel and I'm changing biome. So I guess there's something different about the biomes now. I think it looks like Ashy Shoals is just an extension of Basalt Deltas though. Like this, yeah, okay. But that was still interesting. So yeah, here's the Ashy Shoals biome. It looks like it probably is always adjacent to a Basalt Delta. And this is the one that's going to feature Scorched Hyphae there. Also got Scorched Tendrils, Brambleberry Bush. So that's also a berry you can eat. Okay, the next biome to look at is the Blackstone Shells. So here we are. This is, so it has a soul soil base. Have piglins here. In fact, there's so much blackstone, it makes me think that there might be more. Oh, we've also got magma cubes here as well, so that's more unusual. We've got weeping vines. You notice the colour difference as well between the black stone shells and the ashy shells. In a lot of ways it kind of seems like, that's kind of interesting as well, that the ash goes on top of this bone structure formation here. And the final biome is the quartz canyon. You can see some rose quartz ore. And that is some crystalline sulfur quartz. Interesting. Is that what it's called? It's saying quartz cavern. Well, this reminds me of the amethyst in the latest 1.17 update, which is kind of cool. That's polypite smoky quartz. But yeah, it's clearly an Extreme Hills type variant, which you don't actually see, but it was obviously quite useful in terms of ancient debris. But you don't tend to see a biome like this which isn't covered completely, you know, lava issue. You can see this sort of kind of like a it's similar because it's actually the same shape as a crystal, isn't it? This structure. It's like a four-pronged thing. But anyway, so yeah, they're the biomes which are added by Cinderscapes, and that is going to conclude the video. Until next time, thanks for watching.